2014 Impala. So customer complaint is dies at idle. When I started it up, it did kind of sputter a little bit. First thing I noticed, tack is not working. So it's probably going to be some type of crank sensor code, maybe? Crankshaft position sensor circuit. P0335, P0336, low idle, mass airflow, throttle body flow performance. Definitely what be focusing on is P0335 and P0336. So we got circuit and sensor performance. So let's just see what they say. Replace the crankshaft sensor program. Yeah. And engine wiring harness. Replace crankshaft position sensor connector. Okay. Definitely going to be wiring or sensor, I'm sure. And then as far as the throttle body, mass airflow, low idle speed is going to be contributed to this for sure. With them saying it's dying at idle, which it's not right now, but I just started it up, so I think it could definitely throw all these codes because of the crankshaft sensor circuit. Oh, look at that. Now it's working. And we have engine RPM on the scanner. It was not working just a minute ago. I haven't touched anything. And of course, it's not an easy component to test the wiring and stuff because the crankshaft position sensor lives up behind the starter. So pretty much, in my opinion, you got to pull the starter to get to it. I'm going to see if I can reach down in there. I think I can see the wire that goes back that way. Get a hold of it and oh, look at that. Out hot. Let's see. No. I cannot tell what I'm even touching down here. No. There's a starter. Oh. Well, I'm stuck. Oh, there it is. Okay, I found the wire. And I just touched it. And it died as soon as I touched that wire. So that makes me think that it is maybe not the sensor, and it's the pigtail itself. Let's see if it'll start. Not, well, there we go. Started, but it's not working. Okay, let's see. So we got 0 RPMs. See if I can get my arm back down in there again. Okay. There's a starter. I'm just going by feel. Ow. I think I'm on it. Well, I'm wheeling it now. It's not dying, but it's not going back either. Okay, well, what should I do? Pull the starter and do wiring checks. I think I will just get a sensor and a pigtail on the way, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let this cool down a little bit. I'll pull the starter, and then I'll do wiring checks, check for a good ground, 5-volt reference, and a signal wire. See what we got going on. I'm going to clear the codes and see what comes back. See if, when I start it, see what all comes back when I start it. So, no code. Got a little bit of a long crank, P0335. Circuit code came back immediately. I do believe, likely, very likely, that all the other codes are tied to this. So, okay. I pulled the starter off and pulled the wire, the connector, off of the crankshaft sensor, and I seen what I thought to be coolant. So I was like, what? And it was all green crusties and corroded. So I was very confused on how coolant would be in the crankshaft sensor connector. So I got on a Dynapix and got two people here, Payless Auto Care and John's Auto Repair, that have reported the same thing. Vehicle stalled, restarted, tach would no longer work, same as what we got, same two codes, P0335, P0336. Setting a PCM, removed PCM connector to test crank position wiring, and noticed a bit of moisture around the crankshaft position sensor terminals. Those three terminals are located immediately beside the terminals for the engine coolant sensor. Unplugged the engine coolant sensor and found coolant leaking through. Unplugged the crankshaft sensor, also found coolant intrusion and corrosion, same as we got. Engine coolant temperature sensor had leaked into the connector. Coolant had ran through the harness to the PCM. This blows my mind. How does it go uphill to the PCM and corrode the PCM? But it did. Had leaked into the connector. Coolant ran through the harness to the PCM and made its way down to the crankshaft sensor, position sensor wiring. Okay, he replaced the engine coolant temperature sensor and crank position sensor, ran new wires. So that is crazy. So I pulled up some wiring diagrams and just on the engine coolant temperature sensor, black and brown, dark blue, 12 and 13. Come down here to 12 and 13. 12 goes to low reference, pin 24. 13, dark blue, goes to pin 8. So pin 8 and 24. Blue and brown. So I thought, well, I might as well pull off the connectors here and check it out. What is it, the bolts? Is it the right ones? All right, thank you.
Everything that I ordered with that pilot from them,
Yeah.
they'll be getting to you about 4:45, so I just want to just bring it all straight to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just don't lose any of the paperwork,
All right.
See, just throw it all in the ticket jacket.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so look at that. Somebody's already been in here and repaired a ton of wires. You know, see all the white wires? That's all new wire they put in there. So let's see, my number 8. Number 8 is that blue wire there, right there. Of course, this is for the engine coolant temperature sensor, but and then the white wire in the second row that you see has been replaced. That is the pin 24. So they did. It just blows my mind how some of this stuff happens. And all of the they've got dielectric grease in all of these connectors, a crazy amount. And then you can see tarnished pins. I mean, I can't get a good view of it with the camera, but you know, a lot of tarnished pins. When I opened that up and seen that, wow. So I am going to, because underneath the crankshaft sensor connector is corroded, and you know, you can tell it looks like what's in there is still coolant. I was thinking dielectric grease. Somebody maybe had put dielectric grease in there, but it looks like coolant. And they did all that work up top. Maybe they didn't know the crankshaft sensor was, or maybe it wasn't having a problem at that time or something when they did all them repairs up there. When I did the code scan, it had all those other codes, throttle body. At first I was thinking, well, that's probably just tied to the crankshaft sensor, but now I'm a little worried that that there might be something else going on with those wires or other wires they didn't fix. You can see them green crusties in there, but that's just crazy. I could see the coolant working itself all the way down here to this because it's going downhill, but how it got up to the PCM and corroded all that, pretty crazy. So I'm going to put a new crankshaft position sensor in it because the pins are also corroded up in there, and I'm going to put a new pigtail on it and then reevaluate and see what's going on. Okay, crankshaft position sensor wires, light green, black and violet, violet and dark blue. So we got 12, 13, and 14. Scroll up here, 12, 13, and 14. Alright, number 12 goes over to pin 10. 13. Low reference goes to pin 25. 14. Light green. Crankshaft. Signal. Okay, so we got 10, 25, and 26. 10, 25, and 26. We got number 8 is the blue for the coolant temperature, 910. So there's one of them that they replaced. And then the 2 behind it, 2 white ones. So they have already replaced the pins and the little bits of wire here for the crankshaft position sensor. So looks like somebody has definitely done this repair, but I guess they didn't change out the pigtail down there. But here's the sensor that came out of it. I think they might have even changed this sensor because there is way more corrosion on the pigtail itself than what there is in this sensor. Has anybody else seen this before? Finally got the right pigtail. PTA 1151. First they sent me a 2-wire. They wouldn't plug onto the sensor. I cut the end off of the harness. And only 2 wires came out. I don't know what happened to that one. Definitely got some corrosion in there. Broke that wire all the way off. A little too tight in there to record me wiring it in. But that's the part number for the correct pigtail. And so they sent me the wrong pigtail, and then they sent me a sensor that had been opened and had chunks of metal in the package where they taped it back up, stuck to the magnet. So I sent it back to, it's supposed to be here later today. Okay. Got everything put back together. Oh, let's see. Okay, I guess I did reset the codes from before. Power chain, control module, history. Alright, I'm just going to erase everything again. So it had the other codes in there. I can't even remember what they was now. A throttle body, mass airflow. I don't remember what all it was, but so now that I found all that mess of them, somebody previously doing wire repair, I'm a little worried, you know, that some of them codes might come back, seeing all that repair they did. Okay, moment of truth. Hey, we have tax signal. Alright. Let's take it for a little test drive. See if anything comes back. Raining outside today, but at least it is cooled off a little bit. Po-po. Better to be behind them than them behind you. Well, has a tax signal. It's running good. So I'll do a few test drives on it. As long as none of the other codes come back, we're good to go. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great day. So, it's definitely good to go. Drove it home last night and then drove it over to Avon to diagnose a lady's trailblazer for it. Running perfect, no other codes have came back. So, it's good to go. You all have a great day.